So here on part four, we're going to recap a little bit on the first three parts here. The thing that you have to remember in my scenario here, that this is thousands of years ago, before we knew what a tree was, before we knew what fruit were. Okay, I'm a man, I have a wife, I have two small children, a boy and a girl. We've come across a fragrance that has led us to what we have now called a tree, which has now grown fruit. We didn't know what these things were, okay? We had time on our hands. We didn't have to work jobs. We didn't have to pay taxes. We didn't have to do all these modern things we do in this modern time in history. But anyway, so what led us to this tree? The beautiful fragrance, okay? The beautiful fragrance that we smelled kind of led us to this tree. Okay, I don't see that evolution would care about making a fragrance for mankind. I just don't see it happening. Only a soul would care about another soul. Only somebody would care about us enough to make a beautiful fragrance. I don't see evolution caring because evolution is not a person. Anyway, so this fragrance has now led us to this thing. We've now determined we call it a tree. It's about 20, 25 foot tall. It's relative to man, meaning it's my size. It's not 300 feet off the ground. It's not 400 feet off the ground. I don't have to risk my life to climb it. It's made to the size relative to my size. I'm about 6 foot. The average man is uh, relative to the size of this tree, including children, because these branches and fruit grow clear down to the ground. I don't know if you're familiar with an orange tree, but orange trees grow clear down to the ground. Anyway, so it's relative to the size of man, women, and children. Evolution, why would evolution care about the size of man, care about the size of the tree? Do you understand? Are you saying evolution knows, it thinks that, okay, man is around 5 foot 5 to 6 foot and children are small, so I'll evolve a tree that's only 20 foot tall? Are you saying evolution can think? That's ridiculous. That would mean evolution would have to have a mind. Anyway, the tree is made relative to the size of man. The fragrance, the smell is what brought us to this tree, okay? The first thing that we see are the beautiful blossoms, okay? These beautiful blossoms that my wife puts in her hair to adorn herself. Do you understand? Women love to adorn themselves with earrings, with jewelry, with flowers, with all kinds of things that they put in their hair. To this day, they still do. They make many, many products for women, and it started thousands of years ago. That it's in them by nature. God made them that way to adorn themselves. What do you think they used thousands of years ago before jewelry? They used whatever was in nature. And certainly flowers and everything are in nature. So they adorn themselves by nature. So my wife puts the flowers in her hair to adorn herself, and my daughter follows what my wife does. She's watching my wife. My wife, her mother, is her example. So my daughter is now putting flowers in her hair, and they make a band to go around her head. They still do that. A lot of women still do that when they get married. They'll make a flower band and adorn themselves with natural flowers. Anyway, so they love the blossoms. We love the smell of them. We love the look of them. We love the appearance of them. They love to adorn themselves. Are you telling me that evolution knew that women would love flowers, that little girls would love them? That would mean that evolution loves women, loves girls. Are you telling me that evolution can love? Then evolution has to be a person, or evolution has to have an ability to care and an ability to love. So the blossom on the orange tree disputes evolution because whoever created the orange blossom has to love us. Do you understand this? It didn't just evolve this way. That's ridiculous to think that. Whoever created the beautiful blossoms on the orange tree has to love women, has to love little girls. Do you understand that? Anyways, so some of the other attributes of a tree are, and for all trees are, they make great shade when the sun is out and when it's hot out. And we all know what it's like when it's hot. You could, if you've ever worked outside, you go outside under the shade. There's nothing better than being in the shade when it's hot out and having something cool to drink. So it provides a natural shade when it's hot out. So it's a great attribute relative to man. Man likes to get out of the sun. So do animals, but I don't see any other creature coming around when we're here observing this tree. So I can conclude that this tree was created just for man, for us. I don't see any other animal coming up to this tree to smell these blossoms. I only see us appreciating the blossoms. So my conclusion is the tree is made for us, period. Anyway, the tree is made a natural shelter. If you look at an orange tree, it has all kinds of leaves on it. It is very thickly leaved. It makes a great shelter when it rains because it has very thick amount of leaves on it. So if it rains and we don't want to get wet, we'll go underneath the tree. It makes a great natural shelter. Once again, it's relative to man. If I don't want to sit out in the rain, or if it's storming, or my children are scared, or whatever it is, we can get underneath the tree and not get very wet, see? So it's made relative for man's needs to get it out of the rain. Do you think evolution thought these things through, that man would like to get it out of the rain? So I'll make a tree that has leaves, a lot of leaves. That's ridiculous. That means evolution has to have the ability to think, to care. Evolution doesn't have the ability to think, to care. Once again, whoever created the orange tree cares about us. These are observations that cannot be denied. They can't. They are simple, first-hand observations that anybody can conclude if you have the time to sit there and observe an orange tree. You don't have to read about the research that somebody did about observing an orange tree. You could do it yourself. Or, do you understand? Or these are very simple observations that anyone can conclude, and they can't be denied by anybody because they're true. Anyway, we sit there and we wait and we observe this thing that we now call the tree, okay? And these things that have grown, we call blossoms. They give out the beautiful smell and they look pretty, but now something begins to happen. They begin to shrivel up and die. So now we know they're temporary. They don't last forever. This is not a tree that just grows blossoms and they stay this way. So we watch, we observe, they die, but something after a while begins to happen. Everywhere there was a blossom, a small green circular thing starts to appear. It starts to grow, okay? And it grows and grows and grows. And after time, it stops growing relative to the size of the palm of my hand. And it stops growing in size, but it stays green. So I can conclude that it grows for the size and relative to man. Why? Because it grows to the size of the palm of my hand. It doesn't keep growing and growing and growing and growing until it's 100 pounds, 200 pounds, and then it drops to the ground and I can't pick it up. It grows till it stops, and it stops to the relative size of my hand. I can pick it up. It's not too heavy. Do you understand? It's not too cumbersome to handle. So it grows, I'll say it again, it grows perfectly to the size and weight that I can handle as a man. Do you think evolution cares about that? No. There's intelligent design behind the fact that it stops growing at the size and weight relative to the size of me as a man, the size of my hand, something that I can easily carry. Don't take these things for granted, see? Anyway, so it turns green and grows to the size of the palm of my hand. Okay, but it's hard, okay? I smell it. It doesn't have a smell to it, but it's very hard, like a rock, okay? I try to peel one. It's very hard to peel. There's just no flavor. There's nothing to it. It gives off this bitter aroma to it after peeling. So I conclude it's no good for us. It's not. It's no good to eat. But we sit and wait. We're patient. Once again, we have nothing better to do. We're here to observe this thing. We've never seen this before. So we're here, okay? After a while, okay, something magical starts to happen. And there's a bunch of these on the tree, okay? Now, back in the day, they produced, a mature tree would produce 400 to 500, okay? And with modern technology, they now produce about 1,000. But we're talking about before man intervened and started making genetic mutations and all this and that. We're talking thousands of years ago, okay? So you got 400 to 500 of these things growing on this mature tree. They're still green, but some of them are starting to change this beautiful color orange. It is a bright, bold, beautiful color. It's a color that's pleasing to us. It's not a color that's turning to gray or to, some putrid brown or some ugly color. It's turning to this beautiful, bright, bold color. Like I said, it's a color that's pleasing to man, to pleasing to women, to pleasing to children. Do you understand? Even children love the color orange. Maybe your child would walk up and pick one up and start playing catch with it, or using it as a toy. It's just this beautiful color orange, okay? It changes in texture. It now went from being green and hard to being softer and orange, this beautiful color, okay? Now I make some observations about this, okay? Why is it changing like this? Why this metamorphosis type of thing? It's changing, okay? I figured this out later, okay? But as we know now, it turns ripe when it changes color. Now there's high intelligence in that. If you think this through, why does it change color when it ripens? Well, for one thing, you wouldn't have to peel a lot to see if it was ripe yet, right? This is an outward appearance. We don't have to cut open a bunch of them to see if they're ripening yet, if they're ready to eat. We just know by the changing of the color. You can see from a great distance an orange tree. If it changes from green to orange, you think, oh, they're starting to ripen. You don't have to waste any fruit by cutting them open or peeling them, and now you'll kill that fruit. Now it's a waste. That's high intelligence. That's intelligent design, the fact that it changes color when it ripens. There's no wasting fruit, and it's an outward appearance that man can visually see that now it's almost ready to eat. That is high intelligent design. Evolution doesn't care. Do you think evolution has the ability to think, first of all, that thought, okay, I want it to change color so man could see when it's ripe? That means evolution has the ability to think and then piece it together with man. That's ridiculous. If evolution has the ability to think and the ability to care about mankind and piece the orange tree together with man, that means evolution cares about us. Evolution has to be a person, or at least evolution has to have a soul, because only a soul could care about another soul. Therefore, evolution isn't real. It isn't. It's impossible that evolution is real at all. It's just a theory taught in secular public schools. There's no grounds for reality to it at all. It's a theory. It's never going to be proven because it's not true at all. And there's no evidence to base it in reality at all. Do you understand? Anyway, so if you look at the orange tree, now all the fruit is changing color to this beautiful orange color. Now, okay, like I said, the texture changes, it softens up, it smells good now on the outside, and now we begin to peel one, okay? Now I look at the outer layer. The outer layer is thick. You think, why is this thick? Why does it even have an outer layer? Okay, for a number of reasons. First, it protects from the environment, it protects what's inside, the fruit that's inside. Okay, second of all, some of the fruit falls to the ground. So when it falls to the ground, the outer layer acts as a cushion. Okay, so when it hits the ground, it doesn't bruise the fruit. That is intelligent design. Whoever created the fruit created it with an outer layer to protect it from the environment. Then it protected so it would keep it fresh, the fruit, so it would keep it from being bruised when it hit the ground. That is very high intelligence. Do you think evolution thought these things through? That's ridiculous. Whoever created the fruit itself made choices, made a design, created it to be that way because it all has logical sense. Whoever created the fruit had to have logic. Evolution would have to have a mind to have logic. So it's impossible that the fruit was created by evolution. It had to be created by a creator because it has high design, high intelligent design. Whoever created has to have high intelligence. Anyway, so all indications lead to one thing. Whoever created the orange has high intelligence and loves us. Okay. Anyway, so we press on. Okay, we peel the fruit open, and what we see inside is absolutely stunning. Now, most people would take it for granted. They simply eat the fruit and think nothing of it. And I have to say, at this point, it's so perfect of a fruit, you take it for granted. It's such a perfect fruit, you take it for granted. But what's inside is a magnificent design. Okay, take a look at an orange next time you peel it. Look at it. Look at it, how it's put together, the beauty of the structure itself. It's absolutely a design and created with absolutely beautiful, intelligent design. Each segment is like an individually wrapped fruit made of mostly water and all kinds of vitamins and minerals that are relative to mankind. That is impossible that evolution would do that for man. Okay? There are two essential things that man needs for survival: food and water. The orange has both, food and water. Are you telling me that evolution made a fruit with food and water and then made the human body with a need for survival of food and water? That's ridiculous. That means evolution cares about man. In order for evolution to care, evolution has to have a heart, a mind. You understand? Evolution is not a somebody. Okay? Whoever created the fruit has to care about us because it made a fruit that has what we need as people for our own survival. Okay? But I will tell you this, it has food and water, but the orange surpasses. This is what you have to learn from this video. The orange itself surpasses what we need for human survival, food and water. It goes beyond what we need. It has all kinds of vitamins. It's high in energy. It has vitamin C. Okay, it has vitamin A equivalent. It has vitamin B, thiamine, niacin. Okay, it has vitamin E. It has other vitamins. Okay, it's loaded full of minerals, calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium. And at the end of this video, I'm going to list a bunch of health benefits because there's way too many to interrupt this part of this video to put them in here. They are tremendous. There are so many cancer-fighting agents in oranges, it's beyond, I can't list it in this part of the video. I'm going to put it at the end. It's too much. Whoever created the orange didn't do it just for mankind to survive on food and water. They did it for our greater health. So you would have great health, not just survive. Evolution doesn't care that we just survive or have good health. Only a loving creator would care that we didn't just survive, that we would have great health. Are you understanding this part of the lesson here? You have to get a hold of this because this is a key fundamental part of this video. I'll say it one more time. Whoever created the orange to have food and water, because those are two essential things that mankind needs for survival to make it, food and water, okay, surpassed what we need and gave us something that we didn't just need, gave us more than what we need, gave us beyond what we need so we would have great sense of health, great health. Okay, not just food and water, gave us all kinds of vitamins and minerals, okay, and all these things I'm going to list at the end of this video. So that's where I make the step of whoever created the orange didn't do it just for our survival, did it because they love us. Only a creator would create a fruit that held all these beautiful benefits of having great health, long life, great health. Okay, that's where I step from just caring that we survive to loving us. Don't you understand this? Evolution doesn't love us. Evolution's not a person. The fact that there's an orange and an orange tree is living proof that God exists and God loves us. Okay, God didn't. I don't see God walking up to the orange tree and eating it. And this is why I know there's a God, because whoever created the orange tree, as my wife and children are observing this tree, I don't see the creator of this tree walking up to it and eating the fruit themselves. I don't. Why isn't the creator of this beautiful orange and orange tree eating it for themselves? They're not. So my conclusion is whoever created this that deeply loves us did it for us and not themselves. Do you understand? These conclusions cannot be denied. You could have the same conclusions because they're all true. Okay? Evolution is just a quack pseudoscience, okay? It's garbage. It's quack science. The mere fact that there is an orange tree should show you that there is a God, but it also should show you a lot more. It should show you how much he loves you. Just one thing, an orange tree. Do you understand? It is made relative for man. What that means, it's made perfectly for us by a creator that deeply loves us. Anyway, there's going to be more here in part 5. I'm going to hopefully come to even more of a conclusion when we get into the last part of this, is how we can take the seeds and grow them for ourselves. Is even a greater indication of a deeper sense of love and the great freedom we have to make choices of whether we want to grow the fruit or not grow the fruit, and how we didn't have to labor to make this fruit grow at all.